Are we ready, Jen? I'm going to lead it off. Follow. Okay. All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, and welcome to Unrequested with Rad and Shank. I'm Rad.
This Shank?
And Shank, this is a hot topic, so I want to talk about this. And we briefly gave you an overview because I think you weren't familiar fully with this particular AI, but I just said, are you familiar with AI?
Yeah.
And you were like, oh man, it's taken off and all this other stuff, right? Now, I'm unaware of AI. I'm unaware of AI in the sense that like whatever if we're using it in our military applications, if we're using it in technology, I'm unaware, but I assume that there's bits and pieces, like types of AI that exist, right? But not on a scale that you've seen in like sci-fi movies. Okay. So then one day Jennifer's like, hey, Google's about to go away. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, man, this Chat GPT thing is it's gonna wipe Google out. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So Jennifer's on the cutting edge. You know, she takes care of all of our online stuff. So I'm like, huh? You know, I'm out there teaching people how to kick and punch. I'm like, oh, what are you talking about?
You cut this stone this way.
Right. And so she's trying to explain to me what it is, and I'm not grasping it. Right? So Jennifer, how would you explain to someone who? So we assume somebody listening to the podcast knows about Chat GPT because they, clicked on the podcast, right? But then we also have other listeners who probably have no idea what we're talking about because the name itself is kind of weird. It's not like a cool name like Google. It's Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Right. I even didn't know. Jennifer, what does Chat GPT stand for?
Oh, I'll have to look up what GPT stands for, but Chat GPT is a chat box that you can talk with that's been trained to just give information back.
Right. Now, the way Jennifer tried to explain it to me, she was like, okay, how this works is you chat with it. And what do you mean you chat with it? She's like, you say, tell me what the NFL is. And then it's like, boom, it gives you like this whole breakdown, this full summary, like basically a paper you could turn in about the NFL, right? You go, okay, now organize that and bullet points by the Super Bowl champions every year since the first Super Bowl. And boom, and then it organizes it and it says, okay, now tell me any teams that have won multiple Super Bowl champions, and then it breaks that down. And so it just it keeps reorganizing and basically doing the work for you. Right now, this is what I understand, Jennifer. So, are you actually talking to it verbally? Or are you typing?
Typing.
Okay, so you're typing these requests, right? And so this AI is doing all this. So then you go, what was an example Jennifer gave me? She's like, okay, give me Julia Child. She's was like a famous TV chef, like in the 50s or something. Like, okay, what are the top recipes from Julia Child? And then it'll compile them. Okay, compile that into a spreadsheet and remove any recipes that have beef. It'll like redo it. And so like,
oh my gosh.
You see what I'm saying? So like a virtual assistant, but basically it's not, it's doing all your work, Is this making sense?
Yeah, it's clicking for me.
So then Jennifer starts showing me, and she shows me how it can write a paper for you. So, write a paper about what, pick a subject.
Stoplights.
Right. Write a paper about the invention of the stoplight. Right. And then, okay, what countries use the stoplight first? And then it'll add to it. And then you're like, okay, you just keep asking it questions, and it keeps refining the research. And
right?
I don't know if this is going to help us or hurt us.
I know, but if people use it to write papers and stuff, it doesn't give sources, so you don't know where it got the information from because it hasn't been hooked up to the internet since like 2018.
Okay, so to what you said, and we'll get actually absolutely to that. So Jennifer, when initially I think it was like it capped out at like 2013, so the information was only so far. Right. And so then I was asking all these questions. So then I just watched a couple videos on YouTube, and then boom, suddenly I have all these videos on YouTube breaking it down. So my question, Jennifer, was this will make us dumber. So I didn't like it. Right. Because it's like, because then you can say, you can type in like a paper you wrote or a paragraph you wrote. Yeah. Or email. And then you say, use or more articulate, or make this sound more professional, make this sound more elegant, and it'll rewrite it. Right?
Oh, wow.
Using certain terms, use bigger words, whatever. Right? I'm dumbing it down myself. Okay. But it'll do that. And then my concern, I said, Jennifer, well, then then people are just going to copy and paste and have this do their work for them. And we're not going to get smarter. We're not going to learn how to write like that. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I'd be curious. What was the reaction when Google came out? Was it the same?
That's a great question.
I'm wondering if it's the same.
I'm going to be dumb because I don't know how to like search things.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no because Google was like
it might be different.
Google was like a savior of the internet in the sense that now I can go into one place and search for things. I remember at first I was like, you had to be told what website to go to. You didn't have a primary search engine, right? So you were given websites by someone, or you saw a website and you had to surf that way.
Yeah.
So Google was like an answer to a problem.
Yeah.
Now you can argue that this AI is an answer to a lot of problems, right?
Oh, for sure.
But my concern is that does it give too much, right? And so it's learning as people are using it. It's learning to refine these things as people are asking the questions. It's refining. It's AI.
Oh, wow.
Right? So my concern was that, okay, now this thing's going to write our emails. It's going to write our school papers. But Jennifer touched on that. They were like, well, it doesn't give any references, right? So you can't quite use it for school. And so then I think they did a test with some professors, and they had like 10 different papers written, and they had like 7 of them were written by the GPT software, AI. And it fooled the professors. It was as good as any paper someone else would have turned in, right?
No way.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? But they had a hard time telling the difference. And then there was another instance where they could tell the difference. So I guess it depends on what you're asking.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the flaw in that is exactly what Jennifer said. So my question, okay, well, let's before we move on to that, as far as what I see as the flaw of using it, but my concern is I worry that kind of AI is going to make us dumb. I feel like I feel dumb in certain aspects now where I used to have a good sense of direction. If you sent me somewhere, you gave me directions, I'd follow the directions, and then I could find my way there again because I was paying attention to the road. I was paying attention to the little things you wrote, the King Super's across the street, 2 lights down, stuff like that. But now with navigation, I go to the same, and I can go to a place 5 times and I will use the navigation. And then maybe it'll stick. So I've gotten lazy through technology. Do you think that this is going to dumb down our writing skills or even our willingness to like learn how to write? You're a professional. I remember when I was in the business culture, I had to learn how to write proper emails. And I taught you how to write emails, and you've just taken that skill and added it to your other skills in your education. And you know what I mean? You can write professionally. You can show compassion. You've learned to communicate in written form at a very high level.
Yeah.
So, do you think that this will dumb us down because people will just use this? And so it's not a sincere email, right? And the person's not having to learn how to communicate. We can't even communicate verbally because of text messaging anymore.
Yeah.
Have you heard people on the phones lately?
No.
No, just random people, younger people. Now we have to talk to people. So we have to talk to people on the phone because we run a business.
Yeah.
And these younger people do not know how to talk on the phone.
No way.
Bro, it's not like they're like blargin, like they're not speaking weird, but they don't know how to ask questions. They don't.
Oh.
Like it's weird. Yeah. I'm gonna. So what's this like? Yeah. What's the call? It's like they don't know how to talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh god.
Whereas before, remember when we were coming up, you had to call everywhere. So you learned how to ask questions and probe and get what you needed. And now people are communicating via written form or So I feel like if that's happened verbally. Why? Of course, I think our written skills are gonna. So I'm babbling. What's your take on that?
Before I answer that question, I have a question for Jen.
Okay.
When you do the thing, like you talk to it or you type to it, do you have to like? Obviously, you don't have to accept what it gives you. Does it require you to go and make some edits and tweaks to it?
I haven't.
No way.
No.
You don't have to. I mean, it gives you what it gives you. You choose what to do with it.
And sometimes I just need like, when you're thinking about like sending an email to someone,
you just need your brain juices to get going.
Like, how do I word this? And sometimes I'll just ask it and it'll word it a certain way. And I'm like, oh, that's good. And then I'll use kind of a taste of that, but not like word for word. But
got it. Got it. Interesting. Okay. Now knowing that, I even compare it to like the social media when you think about TikTok and the shortness and the reels and how the immediacy is like impacting our folks.
Yeah.
From this, I think our intellectual development might slow down a bit. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like you won't it won't require you to fire off that cylinder and
or even develop it.
It's the same thing as muscles. I mean, your brain is a muscle, and it's only as good as much as you put it to work.
Absolutely.
And if you don't critically think or have to critically think through things, I'm concerned, y'all. I'm concerned.
So exactly, man. So, and I'm not like concerned into like Terminator 2, Skynet. You know, it's gonna take over our nuclear. But right. I'm not worried about like this, like on a sci-fi level, right? But exactly what you're saying. I feel like we're going to lose certain skills because we're not going to be forced to develop those skills or keep them sharp, right? Now, to what Jennifer said, when I looked at arguments for GPT, they said that, okay, no, if it's used the proper way, and what they view as the proper way is what Jennifer's doing.
It was just taking it as sound bites, and
you're taking what they give you as a way to enhance your skills, and then then you take what it shows you and you can rewrite it.
Got it.
Right? So you can learn from it.
Got it.
Right? You can learn from what it's saying. So that's how they're saying you should be using it. You shouldn't be just copying, pasting it.
Yeah.
Of course, right? Just like Facebook was just supposed to be this, it wasn't supposed to do that, like
meta.
Right. You get what I'm saying? Like it wasn't supposed to like cause all these issues, mental issues, all this other stuff. It was just supposed to be a fun little thing we use, right? So we always start, when we're all pro technology, and I'm not anti technology. You get what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, I believe that. Now I say if you use this thing, use it for its purpose. What they claim to be its purpose is to educate you and teach you how to do something better, right? Okay, I can't come up with this. Let me ask GPT, and then it's going to give me a better version. And then hopefully you pocket that and you see what they wrote and you kind of learn, and then you push yourself to learn to write like that. Yeah. To be better. Yeah. Not just copy and paste what it's giving you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what Jennifer's doing. So even like blog posts and stuff, when she was showing me that, and in my realm, as far as on the YouTube side of things, right, for my channel, everyone's pushing it. They're like, ask it to make titles, and they're showing how it can make great video titles and write summaries for videos, write scripts.
Yeah.
Bro, it does all of it. It does all of it. And it's like clean. And then if it's not what you want, you just ask, change this or make it more scientific. And it'll add more like scientific terms. And you know what I mean? Make this sound more, put more medical information into this. Well, it's crazy. Wow. So that's the argument for. Against my argument against is that we just will not, but understand that if you can take the shortcut, as humans, we do that. We're just gonna do it.
Yeah.
You could still no, it's meant to sharpen this. It's like, well, if I can just have it do it. Case in point, it's gonna do your work, especially work from home. Who's gonna know?
Oh yeah.
Right? And so you start writing your emails with this thing, you start doing all these different things, and no one's gonna know.
Who's gonna know?
Right. Who's gonna know?
Who's gonna know?
No one's gonna know.
Right? No one's gonna know.
Nobody's gonna know.
It's not like there's a buffer to like. I mean, honestly, if your boss was paying attention, if your boss was paying attention, he knows you. He's like, this is different.
Yeah.
It's kind of like your teacher knows you didn't write this. Remember?
Yeah.
You didn't write this.
Yeah.
Right. But at a professor level, at a university level, they're not paying attention to how to your articulation, to your writing.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my concern, and.
You can do so much with it.
Right. Well, and we'll get into those details here soon, but let's go to the next question. Was the Google, right? Is Google going to go away because of it? Because that's what Jennifer initially said, and I think you brought it up, right? So here's the argument, and this is why I researched this as well. And this is why Google will not go away. It's not. I can't take over Google's spot. It's because Chat GPT takes information from the internet, and then it gives you what you've asked for. I want a paper on blah, and it goes, pulls all this info, compiles it into what you asked for. Here's the problem. It doesn't know verified sources. It doesn't know what's good, what's some random blog that some guy in Tennessee is writing. It's pulling from everywhere. And it doesn't have a vetting system, right? So we still would have to vet our information. Right? Because it's just going to write it based on everything it can grab.
Well, Google vets information, so they couldn't build that into the Chat GPT code.
Well, yes and no, right?
Wait a second.
Yeah. Well, like a website there's different information that goes into when you're searching for something, and it gives like a website domain authority.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's just some random blog that someone started today, and it hasn't been on Google for a while, and it hasn't had a lot of visitors, then it doesn't have a lot of domain authority, so it won't give you those results when you Google it. So they could build that into Chat GPT.
Yeah,
as well.
they'd have to figure out how Google's done that. The thing is, Google's not letting them tap into what they use.
I bet if you ask Chat GPT, it knows.
Right.
So
This
right
is
now,
how you do it.
the people who created it, it's not. There's no vetting system. It's pulling from whatever's out there. Whatever's out there in the ether or whatever, the internet, right? It's pulling all that information, and it doesn't have like a filter, right? So if you're trying to that kind of calms me down in the sense that anyone who's trying to cheat, and write a paper, their info could be really off, and the professor would be like, all right, you didn't vet this, to what Jennifer said, you didn't quote your sources, right? So you'd have to go back, and that's another way to do it. You can see how it's written, but then go and check the information, but now you gave yourself double the work.
They even have platforms for that now, where you send your paper, or professors send papers through,
and it'll identify.
and it'll check it. Yeah.
So there's a silver lining, not silver lining, but there's a protections built in place where it's like it's meant to be a tool to help you grow, right? And now you have to like be mindful of the fact that you don't know where this information is coming from. So Google will still need to be around for you to truly vet or search, the right way, because you're not going to get the filtered information, the cleanest information. You're just going to get a fire hose of information.
Yeah,
it's gonna look pretty. It's gonna be cleaned up. It's gonna be shiny. It's gonna be polished.
Yep.
Right. But you don't know what's under the hood. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because again, the information is coming from everywhere. So that was something I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And it's outdated. So Jennifer told me when it first started that it only was using information on the internet up to 2013.
So I was checking, and I guess it's 2021.
So
really,
then it was when I was reading about it 2 weeks ago, it was 2000. Then it was up to 2018. But now I guess, so it's learning.
It's catching up.
Well, and it's learning because of the amount of users, I think.
Let me confirm.
Yeah. So what it is, Shank, is that when they opened it up, was the amount of users capped?
I don't know if you can log in, but it says there's a high demand of users. So they're like, when you do ask it a question, it might be a little bit more delayed, because before it was like, boom, like within seconds, and it would just start responding immediately. Now it like thinks for maybe 10 seconds and then responds. But I don't think anyone is capped out. Yeah.
So you can join it, but so when it first started, not everyone was on it. But now everyone's learned about it. Or not everyone, but a majority of people's learned. So it's like anything else. I think like Instagram, when those things first started, they're like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And then millions of people jumped on, damn, our servers can't handle it. You know what I'm saying? You work in that realm. So that stuff happens. And I think that's what's happening right now. They just didn't expect the popularity of it. Plus it's not in beta because they released it, but it's not fully like launched. It's like it's testing and learning.
Oh, really?
So they let people.
So soon it's going to cost money to use it. It's free now.
So they've got people on it. They're signed on to it, and they're all doing these searches. So it's the AI is getting smarter, and so I think through that it's actually surfing the internet faster, maybe. So now 2018, 2021. So it's getting through the internet faster, maybe. Wow. But it's growing in intelligence as people use it, and that's kind of what it's supposed to do, as I imagine. Right?
Yeah.
And so to what Jennifer said, so when she first was using it, she was showing me like, oh, we could do this for videos. Look, we could do this for blog posts. And then she saved a couple, and then she tried to go on, and it was like blocked because it's like too many users at this time, right?
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah. So
it's only a product that's just collecting info, and Microsoft still wants to buy it.
So is that a thing? Is Microsoft trying to buy it?
Yeah, I think they want to buy it and use it to integrate into their Bing search.
So Bing,
Microsoft.
I never realized
Bing
Bing
is
was
Microsoft.
Microsoft. Okay.
Oh,
okay. You would think Google would try to snatch it up,
or even Apple.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's not more bidding on it.
I'm pretty sure
there's got to be something.
Either there's some bidding happening going on, or they realize the space of like competition, and their
Building
their
something.
R&D teams are probably all over it. Like,
Yeah.
we can do that.
Yeah.
Like I can see it already happening.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
And my initial reaction was like, I hate to say this, but it's like an old man's reaction, like, God damn, we don't need this. We're just getting dumb.
I asked what date range it's familiar with, and it says it's familiar with information up to 2021.
Okay, so
Wow.
see, you see how fast that happened? I swear this was barely 3 weeks ago when Jennifer told me, and it was only up to 2013. Now it's up to 2021. So it's learning and moving. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Now, so again, my biggest thing is if you guys use this, you guys need to understand that it's not vetting sources and it's not quoting sources.
Yeah.
So you could just be getting information from some random guy's blog. And some YouTubers pointed that out. They were using it to like make YouTube videos and say, this is how I write scripts for my video using Chat GPT. It's amazing. But then they go, but be mindful, look. And it quoted some old information like, this is what you should do on your YouTube video. And he was like, that's good advice. This is outdated. Blah, blah, blah.
Really?
Because it's pulling from everywhere.
Yeah, it's pulling
right?
from everywhere.
Now, I guess there'd be a way to get around that. Like, give me information from this year to this year about blah, 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 stuff like that. I mean, that's the thing, too, is a learning curve on how to use it.
Yeah.
Right? But, man, I don't know. Like, that's just, it's so interesting. It's exciting. But at the same time, it's due to misuse, and the misuse we've seen, or like what social media was going to be for us and how it brought us together. And now how, honestly, and I don't, you can get mad if you want to, but this is how I feel, how it's kind of torn us apart. I mean, it's part of the reason you got off of Facebook. You know what I'm saying? So you've just left. You were like, yeah, I'm done with that stuff. So something like this, it's just the nature of man. It's what we do, right?
Yeah.
We have something that's so grand that we can make amazing. It can make our lives better. But everyone's always going to find the shortcut, or way to cheat it, or a way to manipulate it, or make it do something that it wasn't intended for. We always have the best of intentions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, with all that said, I want you to throw like your 5 cents in the bucket. Like really drop where you are mentally on this. Like what do you see? Like, how do you feel about all of it? And then I want to kind of get into whatever Jennifer is finding online about it, like maybe information about it, facts about it, like interesting stuff, whatever. And we'll kind of go in that direction.
Yeah.
So like, because I've been talking the whole time, because this thing has been blowing my mind. And as you can tell, how often do I just sit and read about things, right? And so that's why I'm quoting. I'm like, I read this and I read this argument.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of like very interested. You know me, I'm not going to talk about something I haven't really looked into.
Yeah.
What am I talking about? We do that all the time. But but I'm not going to make a strong opinion about something that I haven't quite like looked into. And right now my opinion is flexible.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Yeah.
Drop it. Like,
I'm the same as well. I mean, I haven't looked into it. This is just like Ange told me about it a couple of weeks ago, and she was the one that told me, yeah, you can just ask for it to make a recipe and it'll kick one back. And I'm like, what? But then I never really went to go seek it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it was not like same thing. Jennifer's excited. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
But I've never even pulled it up on, I just never really thought to use it or.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Now I am in 100% agreement on your opinion, but I also think there's another side of this that could be I wonder what creativity it was sparking somebody, and we might see new ideas and thoughts and pop-ups.
Right.
The other part is I wonder how controversial this site could be, because like you could put something in there and it could be spun up and it could kick dust, like I don't know, hypothetically, like GTP, can you tell me how to solve cancer? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I never even thought about that.
If you think about these things,
and
I wonder,
it'll be the ultimate research assistant.
It'll have all the information,
and
then
it puts it in front of you, and you can then synthesize things a little bit quicker and get to an answer.
It'll drill things down, then you keep refining it down. You know what it reminds me of? Sci-fi movies when they're doing a virtual thing. They're like, grab me the case files from blah blah blah. Now separate by da da da.
Yep.
And you see them kind of doing it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man.
It's.
Yes. I wonder what it would do. Man, like it could be creative, or it could be disruptive.
Yeah, I think,
At
well,
the same
and that's the
time.
problem with all technology.
Yeah.
Right? Like I said, the best of intentions, right? So we have to take everything with both sides. Like we have to look forward to and be excited about what it's going to bring to us and what we can achieve with it.
Yeah.
But you also have to kind of, and I don't like being a pessimist or be like, this is what, because that's how I sound this whole podcast, bro. I'm like, and we're gonna be dumb and it's gonna do this, and I'm like, that's not how I'm trying to sound. I think I just approach new technology with caution now, and that's this kind of technology. It's not like I buy a new camera came out and I'm looking at that technology. I'm like, oh, we gotta be cautious, you know.
Yeah.
What about this? You know what evil people are gonna do with this? You know, you gotta take it. In the context that I'm explaining, excuse me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, we have to be excited about what's to come to what you're saying.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think there's some caution as far as like,
100%.
or acceptance as far as like someone's going to use it in a weird way or negative way or dangerous way. Or universities and other people that, employers are going to see a wave of the, and then can you imagine, you get an SME, or sorry, I'm using like corporate terms, like a subject matter expert at your job, and he's like, oh, I'm just going to use Chat GPT, and it pulls all this raw data that's incorrect. Some of it's correct, but some of it's not, and he turns it in, and they're going to take it because he's the expert. He's supposed to be the subject expert, and
writing
then they go
code.
off of, and they go, well, that was another thing that came up. They said it can write code.
It can write code.
Yeah, because it can pull all the like tutorials
All
and
the
all
sources,
stuff.
yeah.
So, but what if someone's wrong? And the code, you know what I mean? And so you need the experts still to be able to vet it.
This is interesting.
It is. So I like where your head is at. And so you pulled me back out of the, man, I was more down here like, all right.
We about to be dumb as hell.
Yeah, like we needed to be any dumber.
I want a cheeseburger. What's wrong with you? You using Chat GPT? Use your brain.
Tell me what a cheeseburger should taste like. Let's start with this. What does GPT stand for? Did you look that up yet?
Oh yeah, it stands for so chat, right? It's a chat bot, and GPT is generative pre-trained transformer.
Generative pre-trained transformer. Yeah. Listen, I think they need to come up with a cooler name. I mean, it makes sense. It's, as you're building something, like you abbreviate it, Chat GPT.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
yeah. Who are the inventors? Like, where are they from? I wonder if this is like.
I did ask it. What did it tell me?
I'm curious if it's one of these situations like TikTok is like,
China.
They were.
It was China. Straight up. We know. If you don't know, you need to look into it. But they straight up got our stuff.
Oh,
man.
they got our info.
Yeah.
So I asked it if Microsoft owned it, and it said, I was trained by OpenAI, which is an independent research organization.
Okay. That's it. So that's who created it?
OpenAI.
Where is OpenAI based?
Research organization.
Or anyway.
Let me ask it.
Oh, what did you look up some interesting stuff? Like, what do you want to share? What do you got over there on the computer? On your internet machine?
If Chat GPT is wrong, it won't know. So if it's giving you wrong information, and if you argue with it, it'll argue back with wrong information.
Right.
And let's see. I was just looking online to see what people were really saying about it, but it's kind of all over the place. Like, people think it's really great. It's going to I don't know, evolve into a really great chat bot that people can use, and then other people are saying, like what you were saying, make people stupid.
Well, so I guess knowing that, right, and it just reiterated what I know. It's like that it doesn't have all the right information, and if you try to argue with it, it's going to argue with the information it has, which is it pulled from some guy's random blog. Yep, you get what I'm saying? So it's like, so I think to kind of go in the middle here, right? Because to what you said, to the benefits we could have from it, and then of course the dangers it could present. I think the best thing I can say is proceed with caution. Proceed with caution. Use it for what it's meant to be. Grow your intelligence, grow your writing skills, use it to get information. Yeah. But know that the information you're getting from this thing is not 100%. Don't take it just like The problem with a lot of people now is they go on some random blog and not vet the information and go, this guy's telling the truth. There's a conspiracy and with no facts, or you don't take that information and go over here and like, put it through a filter here and try to understand if he's just ranting or if he actually has some, some truth to what he's saying, and you can make your own decision.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where we have to be cautious.
Yeah.
Just know that it's not 100% accurate. And if you use it just to kind of like, it can be accurate in the way that it's like, okay, write this in a, more or make me an eloquent email that says this, and you can like sharpen your skills.
Yeah.
But know that the facts you're getting may not be. I mean, maybe if you learn to communicate with it, you can ask it to like using only medical journals published in the last 5 years.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I asked it, I said, how do you know what information you know is correct or incorrect? And it said, it gave me a
You're
very
on it
long
right
response.
now?
Yeah. It gave me a very long response and said, my knowledge at cutoff date is 2021, and any new facts or events that happened, I'm not aware of. But additionally, I may not be able to distinguish between true and false information or between different interpretations of the same information. It's always a good idea to verify any info I provide with multiple sources.
I like that. Yeah.
Oh, it's very politically savvy response.
It makes sense. It's very
balanced.
Like a disclaimer.
Yeah. Just so you know.
Yeah. Just so you know,
I might be wrong.
I'm not the end all be all.
Yeah.
Right? And we know from all sci-fi movies that if you start thinking that AI is the end all be all,
come on now,
it takes over.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? It takes over. But I can dig that, and just know, I guess that's a way to learn. Like, I remember because I had one of my friends, I don't know if you remember Jason, but he was a doctor, and when I was looking up things with certain conditions I had, right, he was like, I used WebMD over like some random person writing about like, this is what I rubbed dirt.
That pimple on your back is actually a knot.
Yeah, exactly. Or I rubbed dirt
fluid in it
mixed with my urine to, it's like, I use WebMD most of the time. Because I assume that's like vetted by medical. But
absolutely.
He even said, he was like, well, that's not a bad source. He goes, but you need to look at the blah, blah, blah medical journals. And he's like, that's where you should search when you're searching, when you have medical questions. And I was like, and I looked, that shit was so like above my head. Because it's actual medical journals. Actual, like vetted by other doctors, and then only published if it's, you know what I mean?
When I have like a medical question, I don't go to Google. I just go to my healthcare provider, Kaiser. I go to their website.
There you go. Yeah.
Because I already know. Once you get on the internet, you're
either going to be really scared or you're going to be like, oh, that's nothing. Yeah,
it's a dark hole, man. You can go deep. So
people take a hard fall on the internet, and that's why it's like, it's just better in general to have a good habit of just searching things. And even if you search something, like read contradicting information, or just kind of make sure you fall down the rabbit hole a little bit. But I guess fall is the wrong word, because that's what we're talking about. You don't want to fall into a dark hole, but climb down cautiously, right? And ensure that you can always kind of like pull yourself out.
Yeah.
You want to be climbing. You don't want to be falling. Right?
I wonder if there's going to be a dark side to this. Like how there's Google,
there's gonna
and then
be.
There's literally the dark web.
Yeah. Dude, how is there not going to be? It's what we've done with every form of technology we've ever created, right? As much as we've gained so many amazing things, because there are that side of people who are always going to look to better our lives, and in good way, in like very important ways, but also just basic ways, like I just want to shop from home, stuff like that. Like there's always going to be that side that's just using it to make it better, because initially most groups come together to make something again that will be of benefit to humanity or to us. But there will always be that other side.
Yeah.
There will always be that other side.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So absolutely there's going to be someone who's going to turn it on its head for that reason. I will say, I think the next few episodes we should have a little fun with Chat GPT.
I think we should have a conversation with GPT
and ask it some questions. So let's start thinking about some questions now. Viewers, we are on YouTube. Viewers and listeners, if I'm sure you can look these questions up yourself, but if you want to have a little fun, shoot us some stuff that you think we should ask. But I think that'd be fun, and then we can kind of say, that's because we are knowledge based as well. We have expertise in different areas
for sure.
And so, and then maybe another episode, maybe we could do like compare it up against Google. We'll type it GPT and we'll see what Google has to say. Right.
So I asked Chat GPT what we should ask it, them, they,
them, they,
him,
it.
I,
and right now it's It's got 10 things so far.
That's a
Tell
good
me a
question.
joke, generate a random recipe, tell me a fun fact about a random animal, give me a list of interesting trivia questions.
Wow.
Wow.
Listen, this thing could like set up our
Our
current
entire
season,
podcast.
our whole season this year. This thing could set up our whole season. Man, I'm telling you. You know what this reminds me of?
Oh.
It's like when Jennifer and Nessa play with Alexa and Siri all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll just sit there in the kitchen. They'll just ask, Alexa, give me a trivia question.
Yeah.
Or Siri. And and I guess this goes to my whole stance on this thing. I'm so like, let me just pull it up on my phone. Didn't we talk about this on one of the
Yeah.
episodes where I'm like, I still type in the question instead of asking it. I don't know why.
Yep.
Guys, I think it needs a name. I think, because we've got Alexa and we've got Siri. I actually saw something recently. Like, I think Jennifer asked Alexa, didn't you ask her why her name is Alexa?
Yeah.
And she said it's
an acronym.
it
Wasn't
was
it?
like a form that could be easily identified when you ask. You know what I mean? Like if it was Sally or something. I don't know.
Oh, like a common name.
It wouldn't always pick up, but Alexa it'll always be able to
Oh,
pick that
it was
up.
inspired by the Library of Alexandria,
Oh, okay. And
it's reflective of Alexa's depth of knowledge.
and
And
it didn't say that part. I swear there was a part that was on GPT.
no, that's what Google said.
Am I imagining that part? Is Alexa at home f***ing with me? I swear.
I could have sworn we had a whole conversation
Where
about
Alexa,
this.
where she said, and it's
And
like
it's because-
it's easy, it's easy to recognize verbally, like when you're saying Alexa. I know I heard
I have
that.
it on my phone. We could ask Alexa
You can ask her.
because
See how
I
she
know
doing.
that she did say something about her name.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm not losing my mind.
What did I say? Let's see. Alexa, why are you called Alexa?
Sound of the name ensures I only hear requests and sound.
So
You
she
see?
said, it's the distinct sound of the name ensures I only hear requests.
You
when
see, I ain't
spoken
lost my
to.
damn mind. I know.
Wow. I was worried there for a second. I was like, did you have a conversation with yourself?
I
it's
do.
about to beat this.
I do. I'm like adding stuff on the end of what they're telling me. I'm trying to create my own AI.
And
And
Damn, I keep hitting the microphone.
All right, so we're gonna. So this is exciting. So we're gonna close this one out. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. I was like, does Shank know about this? So I wanted to talk about it. But to that
just
point,
the tip.
just
That's all I know. Just
and I'm
that
trying
much,
to give
man.
it all to you.
I know.
I'm trying to give it all to you, right? And now that we've felt it,
Yeah.
we're gonna proceed and we're gonna see. We're gonna pump it for more information in the next podcast.
Oh, okay. Sounds great.
All right, how's that sound, Jennifer? Does that sound like a fun few episodes?
Yeah.
You better
Yeah.
buckle up, Buttercup.
Yeah, that's right. Safety first. Well, I guess we're going to have to, given what we're going to be doing the next few episodes, we may have to give a producing credit to Chat GPT.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Might be a counselor and a
you know what I'm
therapist.
saying? Like our R&D department, Chat GPT.
Why am I? GPT says to create a visualization. So
I will
do that.
I will
Try
I will
these
work on
things.
that, guys.
Word of the
I
wise.
will work on it. I'll work on it. And with that said, you didn't ask for it.
But you got it.
See, I did
You
it again
did do it
because
again.
I'm working on it. And as the old saying goes,
Bye.